Good morning again. Uh, Again, my name is Travis Hunter. I have another lesson I'm coming to you this morning on. Uh, I'm still working on trying to post my first one. That is my first message. I have given messages in church before, but this is my first YouTube. Now, this is my second. I'm still learning. I end up getting an app, reached out to a good friend of mine. I'm trying the video thing. I'm learning. I'm getting there. It's teaching an old dog new tricks. It's slow, but I'm getting it. So, thank y'all for bearing with me. Again, I am not a licensed minister. This is just me, a guy that's going through this walk and the walk to God and this Christian walk. And like I said yesterday, it's not easy. We all need help. We all fall short, but it's a walk. And like any other walk, uphills, downhills, this gets hard. It gets tiring. So today, I'm coming in a little bit more. I know I have a lot of stories, a lot of testimonies, but let's just go ahead and jump into it. So, like I was saying, this walk is not this walk is not easy. And that light is bright again. Like I said in the beginning, I have ADHD, so you might hear me say focus a lot and trying to get my mind straight. So back to it. All right. So this walk, it's all up and downs, and like any walk, any exercise, it's ups and downs. It's tiring. It's exhausting. It's a lot of work. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now that my walk with God, it has never been smooth. It's never been steady. It's been more like a wild roller coaster ride. There were seasons when I was on fire for him, ready to give him everything, but there was also times where I fell out of place, even in the very house of God. To start off, I remember when I was about 12 or 13, and I lived out east at the time. I lived out in Pittsburgh, Texas. And I remember I went to a few churches on my own. My mom and dad never really went. And I remember I started this one church, and I ended up going to a camp called Camp Falls Creek. And that is where I first witnessed to God, and I first started realizing who He was. And whenever we got back from camp, I decided to get baptized. And that was my first time. And after I got baptized, shortly about a week after that, now in this time, not only was I picked on at school, but I had a lot of friends that was picked on at school. And it was daily, day in, day out. It was stressful. But shortly after this baptism, and I started getting all right, my mom and dad started having an argument, and they had a big fight, and my mom decided it's time to move apart. Now, they did not get a divorce. They did not. They just kind of separated for a good 4 or 5 months, and eventually my dad came back. But my mom decided to take me and my sister away from East Texas and moved us up to North Texas. And in that time frame of moving, we had uh, we had some kids was picking on my best friend. There was like 10 on 1, and they was bullying him, pushing him down, stomping on him, and I walked outside as it was happening. And in my mind, the only thing I could think of doing was they had a role. I'm probably gonna show my age here, but they had a role for they had a roll of chairs on this cart that you roll in and out of the gym. And I ended up grabbing one of those metal chairs and I just started swinging. And eventually I got all of them off of them. My friend, he got up and he took off running out of the school. It was already the end of the day. It's already like 3 o'clock. But he took off running and I'm the one who got caught. And the teacher got a hold of me. I ended up having to do detention. And now my friend, he had his mom and his sister, and they were both working, and they usually didn't get home till almost 5, 6 o'clock that day. And most of the time, me and him were just hang out. And I didn't get out of school until about 4 because of the detention. And I went over to his house, and I noticed the door was cracked. I'm calling out his name, trying to find him. We're in the backyard, because in the backyard we had like a trampoline set up, and all me and my other friends, we had tables. We let out a lot of aggression at the age of 13, and we kept a lot of super glue around because, boys. But I tried to find them, and I went up to the house, and that's when I noticed the door was open. I kind of pushed the door open. I'm calling out to them. I can't hear them, and uh, I started going in his house and went through the living room, and I'm like, okay, maybe he's just hiding in his room. I'm trying my best to check on him, and I go in his room. I didn't see him, and uh, I went to go leave, and I noticed that the closet door was kind of cracked, and he usually keeps his room very clean, and that closet door is never cracked. It was always shut, or because again, boys would like to hide things in our closets and messy, and parents say, "Hey, go clean your room." Cleaning our room at 13 as a boy was taking all of our clothes and toys and just shoving them in the closet. It's clean. It works. Well, I go and open up that closet door, and I saw my friend there. In a way, I did not want to see him, and I carried that with me. And I had to, I had to call his mom, and I had to call everything, and I didn't even have time to process it. I never went to his funeral because we ended up moving shortly after that, and I carried that, and I'm like, man, God, I started this walk with you. I got right. I got baptized, and you make me see my friend do that to himself. You make my mom and dad separate and move us up here. And from that point, I was young. I was a kid. I didn't know any better, and I didn't go back to God. And I mean, I had a youth minister in North Texas, and I'm okay saying his. No, I'm not really gonna say his name, but he he's been with me with each chapter, not only through my teenage years, but my young adult, and he's still in my life. I still talk to him, and he is a very close friend of mine, and so I still had God, even though I was wandering off, and it wasn't until I met my wife to when I really started getting back into it, and that's another story. Now in this season of this church, it was it was great. It was doing good. I felt deeper than I've ever felt before, and I was already on fire for him. And through this church, um, I mean, I started to grow like never before. I started feeling the fire I never before. I started carrying my Bible. I started reading. I'm like, yes, I finally have got to a point where I can have a relationship with them. Now at this church, again, like I said, wild roller coaster. somebody in this church accused me of cussing and telling somebody to shut up, other words, and with some colorful language in between it. Now, when this was spoken, I had my wife, we was in the youth room because we was learning how to become youth ministers. I had my wife beside me, and she even said, I've never heard you say those words. I also had my cousins beside me as well. They also never said the words. They also said I never said the words that they were saying. They were sitting beside me, but the youth pastor and his wife across the room said I said it. Another person in a different room across the hall said I said it, so on and so forth. So everybody's saying that I said these words. Thank you. So, anyways, so everybody said I said this word. Now, this led into a very heated disagreement between the pastor and the youth pastor. And let's just say my flesh riled up, and I did some things in this argument that was not good. And in that moment, the enemy's goal was accomplished. His plan worked. I walked away, not just from that church, but from God Himself. I was like, man, every time I try, this is now my second time that I try to get on this walk, and something had to happen. I drifted for years after that until I found another church. And again, same thing for a while. Yes, doing better. Life's going good. I'm finally understanding it. And again, this time it was mine. It was my fault. It wasn't nobody else's. This time I was working a job. I was a delivery driver. I had my family in the car. I was looking at that darn phone and was not paying attention because I thought I had an order. Well, I ended up rear-ending somebody, and I held myself accountable. I don't want to get too deep into that part because, again, that's car accident is also another lesson. But I held myself responsible. I led that guilt and that shame built a wall between me and God. I let the thoughts reign supreme. And the church wasn't the church that I was in, they didn't really notice, or maybe they didn't even step in. I'm not for sure, but I don't remember anybody coming up to me. But then again, that could have been the enemy blocking that memory. So I fell away, but this time it was worse than any other time. This time it led to 8 years, 8 years of just drifting away. And again, I'll get into this testimony on a different um, subject because I have a lesson for that one as well. But this here was 8 years, and I can see the enemy celebrating what he thought was victory. He's like, yes, I broke him again. Now this is his third time. I know how he works. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Now there's a third. There shouldn't have been a third. I'm done. I quit. I follow you and I get hurt. I follow you and I fall back. I follow you and stuff just happens. I don't like it. I'm out. But here's the truth. What the enemy may rejoice for a moment, but what he doesn't know, he doesn't get the final word. Because while we was walking away, God was walking towards us. God never stopped walking towards me. As I was running away and I was fleeting, I was like, man, forget this. No, it's too hard. No, Christian life, man, I don't need none of that mess. He was still walking to me while I was wandering down the path that he did not put in front of me. He skipped over to the path that I wanted to go down. and he just stayed right there on the sidelines. It's kind of like parents and their kids. We teach them as they are in our house. We guide them as they are in our house. But the time comes when they turn 18 and they got to walk out that front door. As parents, we just got to go, all right, son, daughter, do well as I taught you. We don't really have that control. So God's the same thing. He will teach us at a young age sometimes. And for some, again, for some people, they don't grow up in this. For some people, they don't grow up knowing. But God is still right there, even though we don't know. He's still there, just waiting. He's a gentleman. He's not going to come in and kick your door down. He's waiting for you to come to him. So as I was stepping back, he was stepping forward. So this is what I come to talk to you about today. I come to talk to you about uh, about God's path, your walk. It's God's path, your walk, but the enemy demised. Demise. God's path for you, but it is your choice, your walk. It's my choice, my walk. And I just hit the microphone again. But if we do it correctly, the enemy will fall. So, my first point today, or this morning, God's path is not always easy, but it is always right. In Proverbs 3:6, and I wrote them down this time. I don't know if you watched the other message, but I wrote them down this time. Proverbs 3:6, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. And always acknowledge him, and he shall direct the path. Life goes south. All right, Lord, let's go north. And that's another lesson I have. When things go crazy, I mean, just yesterday after I did that lesson, I'm an entrepreneur. I work my own landscaping business. Just yesterday, I pick up the person that's helping me. I go to the car wash to wash off my tires, because I don't really want to cross-contaminate yards. My lawnmower won't start. My rider, I'm like, I'm like, all right, cool. It's probably just a battery. I'll drive back over to the house and I'll take my truck battery out of my truck, and I'll just put jumper cables on it. It's fine. It'll work, and it did. First yard went smooth. Pulled up to the second yard, and it was going smooth. And I look over at my worker that I have, and he's holding a wheel, and I just kind of looked at him, and I'm like, please tell me that's not off my push mower, and that's, you found that on the ground. He's like, well, I can't lie that it was on your lawnmower. And I'm like, and it's front wheel drive, so it has like the gears, and the Lord will provide. Even though I was going through these chaoses and these parts of these things that keep breaking down, I was able to, you know what, God will provide. Next job's not that bad. We don't need the push mower. We can just hammer through it. So, again, this path isn't about comfort. Things are going to happen, things are going to go south, but it's about direction. What are we going to do when things go south? It's God's path, because God's path doesn't promise that people won't fail you. God's promises are not that the church won't fail you, but He does promise you a better life. He does promise you the gift of the Holy Ghost. He does promise you that if you will lean on Him through your worst times, He will bring you out of it. He will give that to you, but you have to be, it's a two-way communication. It's like picking up a phone, talking to your friends, or it's a two-way street. You just can't say, okay, God, take this, and not do nothing. You got to put in the work. You got to rise up. Like, all right, God, you take this. Help me and guide me through this. Guide me for my words. Help me to set a path. And then you got to get up off your booty and get out there. Try it. Speak what you told him. He only can. It's like I've always said whenever I try to help people, I only can help those who are willing to help themselves. If they're not willing to help themselves, then I'm just spinning my wheels. God's promise is there for you, and it's not wavering. It's not going to be taken back. It's not going to be broken. His promises are not to break. His promises are eternal, and they are there for you. But we have to do our part. And doing our part is, again, it's not easy. This Christian life, it's not a cakewalk. It takes some strength. It's hard work. The enemy wants you to be comfortable, though. The enemy wants that comfort for you. The enemy wants you to be relaxed because he doesn't have anything to worry about when you are comfortable. He doesn't have anything to worry about when you are relaxed because the enemy doesn't attack what isn't advancing. I want to say that again. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't advancing. So when you are asking yourself, when you are going through these problems, when all these life happens and chaos and this and shifts and falls, what you need to ask yourself is not, oh, why me? Why do I got to go through this? Why is life so stinking hard? I can't do this no more. You don't need to be asking yourself that. That is what the enemy wants you to say. Instead, you need to say, all right, God, what is your path for me? What are you leading me to? Why is that enemy so scared? Why does that enemy want to do these things? What are you leading? Now, I'm also going to say, not everything is the attack from the enemy. Not every situation is an attack. Sometimes it's just life. So don't be giving credit to him when it's not him doing it. Don't be giving him credit. He's just a sly fox. That's all he is. But not everything is an attack. Just the other day, I was going to church, flat tire. Was it an attack? Probably not. It was just, I probably just ran over a nail. Things happen. Okay. But not everything is attack. So I just want to say that as well. But again, ask God, what is it that you're leading me to? What walk am I needing to take? What path do I need to go? Because my second point leads to it is your walk matters. The walk you are taking, it matters. Because in Galatians 5:16 it says to walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. I'm going to say that again because I kind of stumbled on my words. I'm sorry. Like I said, ADHD. Me and words, we have a very difficult relationship sometimes. Whew. Walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Again, like I said yesterday, this stuff here, it's our demise. It is filthy. It stinks. Sometimes it riles up. Sometimes somebody pushes the wrong. Sometimes they just cut us off and honk at us and give us the wonderful number one sign, and it just does not set well. The flesh will rise up. So how do we fix that? Again, your walk matters. Your walk determines whether you move forward or backwards. Sometimes we stumble. Sometimes we get hurt. Sometimes we feel betrayed and tragedy happens. But sometimes stumbling is not the same as quitting. Sometimes the tragedy, it may distract you or may detour you to another path, but still, that doesn't mean you're quitting. That doesn't mean you're giving up. You are still walking, even though life has happened and tragedies has happened. But you're still walking. So even if you make that detour in life, you are still walking. There's a friend that I once had. I still have him. I mean, he's been there through my high school years. It was one of my best friend's dads. Uh, he once said, with a walk, even where, I don't know if I can do it on here, but even where you have started. So if you're starting here, even though you are taking 3 steps and you're here now, but even if the enemy push you back and you take 2, you're back, but then you take another and another, and then you're walking and you come back. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where you were never where you started. Even though you're taking a few steps, you might take 1 or 2 back, but you never get back to the point where you have started to where you don't believe. You will get into church. You will start understanding the knowledge. He can't take away that knowledge. He can't take away your learning. You're still going to have it. Yes, we might fall back. Yes, we may stumble. But what doesn't hurt you, what doesn't kill you, can only make you stronger. What the enemy wants you to think is that he has won. He wants you to think that he doesn't have anything to worry about. Like, look at me. He went through, I mean, not he, I went through 8 years without a church. I went through 8 years of uh, of walking away, and here I am now. I am in a church. Yes, I lost my dad. Yes, I stumbled. Yes, I fell short, and these have spent 5 years in the spirit. I have spent 5 years of learning and studying the word to show myself approved. It, and yes, I've had deeper relationship than I've ever had, even back before the stuff at the other church happened. This one here, especially when I lost my dad. When I lost my dad, I thought that was the end. I had an issue at the church where I was going to at the time, and I remember sitting in the parking lot of the alcohol store and just telling myself, you know what, it's just one drink. Yeah, it's going to throw away 11 years of sobriety, but it's just one. I just I need to numb the hurt. I need to numb the pain. But then the scripture came to me. Be ye sober, be vigilant, for your adversary is roaring like a roaring lion, seeking who he may devour. So again, after spending 8 years away from God, I am now sitting here 5 years in the Spirit, and I have learned more than ever. And I'm on a deeper level, because what he thought, what the enemy has thought, he can turn into a defeat, and he can turn into to me falling. It led to the enemy demise. And that's my third point. And my final point is the enemy demise comes when you refuse to stay down. Yes, I lost my dad, but I ain't staying down. My dad taught me life's gonna punch you. It does not matter how many times life hits you. It's how much you're gonna get up and hit back. So what the enemy thinks he can destroy, but he can't destroy when you refuse to stay down. So in John 10:10, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. This is what I was telling you about earlier about God's promises. God's promises are always there. They are always abundant. They are there for you. It's just how do we get to them? The devil thought, the devil thought he had me. He thought he had me for 8 years. He was probably celebrating. But what he didn't know is that I am a hunter. We are strong, and I don't admit it much because the first step of it is denial. But I am stubborn, and I can be that donkey sometimes, and that's another lesson. I know I have a lot of them, so you'll be seeing a lot of me, even with all my ADHD mess. Just enjoy the ride. But what he thought was my failure, but what he didn't know is that every time I got back up, his defeat was sealed. My very testimony of my failure has become proof of God's grace. It has become proof that I am a prayer warrior. It has become proof that those who are lost in this dark world to see me and ask for prayer. It is proof that through all the stuff the enemy has put me through, all the stuff that I have put myself through, not just the enemy. Again, some things are not attacks. Sometimes it's just this filthy, rotten flesh and these thoughts in our head. Sometimes these thoughts are like a bird, they fly over. If we choose to let them fly over, they fly over. But sometimes we might think, oh, well, I'm going to keep that one because that one is true. Then you're going to let that nest. You're going to let that bird make a nest. And then once you make those thoughts, again, this is another lesson I have. Once you let those thoughts take root, that's when the enemy has you. But it had to come with your choice. It had to come with your thoughts. It's your own. Sometimes our flesh gets in the way. It's not always the enemy. Sometimes it's our flesh. But again, the stuff he put me through, I did not stay down. I kept stepping back up. And it's kind of like the pastor at my old church. Sometimes in this walk, it gets so dark you can't see in front of you. Your eyes are closed. You can't see nothing. It is dark. What are you going to do? Are you going to be afraid that's a step? Or are you going to, even though you can't see, are you going to lift your foot up and take that step? Are you going to take that step even though you do not know if there's a floor in front of you? You don't know, but God knows. God knows where it's at. So, my challenge for you today, as I wrap this up, my challenge today is this. Now, this is with me. I have learned that I learned this the hard way. I don't know why, but for sometimes most seasons or life or consequences, I tend to learn them the hard way. But I think that's like a 90s thing. Is again, I'm showing my age. I have the whites, I know, but I think it's more of a 90s thing where we learn much, much better when we do things the hard way. I don't know why that is. But with me, I've learned in the hard way that people will fail you. Life will break you. And the enemy will lie to you. He did it to me. And he used the words that hit the hardest. The thoughts of, I'm not good enough. I can't protect my family. I'm just dumb and stupid and I can't get words right. He used the things that he knew that will cut the deepest on my thoughts. But if you keep your feet on God's path and your eyes on Jesus, you'll see that the enemy's power is temporarily. It's only just a slim chance of his power. You will find out that you will have more power in your pinky finger. You have more power in maybe that. You have more power in your pinky finger than the enemy will ever have through God's promises. Because God's promises are eternal. So today I want to tell someone or somebody or whoever's watching this, I want to tell y'all to get back up, to rise back up. Maybe you've been knocked down by the words, by the guilt, or by the tragedy, or even like myself, by the church itself. Or maybe even the people of the church has brought you down. Okay. But that's only because the enemy wants you to believe that you are weak, that you won't be able to get back up. But God, if you keep walking, you will outlast every attack, every lie, every scheme of the enemy's of his playbook. Because when you walk on God's path, nothing can harm you. And the enemy's defeat is sealed by the blood of Jesus Christ. He can't do nothing to you. He can try all he wants. But like I said in the code of ethics, we take those 10 codes that I have given y'all and we apply them even to this message to love and to build up. So my challenge to you today, if you are struggling, if you've been hurt by the church, by the people, I mean, even if you have gone through death of a close one like myself, I mean, I still carry my dad. I mean, it's hard. It's been 2 years, and it was all of a sudden. I mean, one morning I'm sitting there talking to him, and I'm telling him I love him, and we're making plans for that day. He's like, I've got to go to work, and I'm going to just take care of 2 loads, and then I'm going to go back to the motel, and I'm going to sleep a little bit, and I'll be there. Next thing I know, I'm getting a call saying that the wind caught hold of the trailer, and the trailer landed on top of the cab of the diesel truck, and your dad's trapped inside. You need to get to McKinney as quick as possible. Life changed. It hurt. I'm still facing it, but I'm not going to let it detour my walk, because God has not only healed me, He's given me a purpose. These lessons, I never would have thought that I would be doing something like this. This is way, way out of my comfort zone. But again, like I said, the enemy wants you to be comfortable. He wants you to be relaxed. But God is telling us to go out and to preach the gospel to his people. That is not relaxing. That is not comfortable. That's hard to do, because some people ain't going to want to listen to it. Some people, and sorry to step on your toes here, but some people would rather just stay down and to lay down and just let that serpent tell them all the lies that they need to be told. And so again, today, my challenge for you, if you have been knocked down, rise up. How to do that? Maybe start by forgiving those people. Maybe start thinking more positive ways about yourself. Don't be beating yourself up. You yes, you are worth it. You have a purpose. Just again, like I said yesterday, God called Simon Peter because Peter meant a rock. God said, Simon, you are a rock. Your name is Peter. Peter, he didn't believe he was a rock. Nope. Uh, Jesus is calling you to a bigger purpose. Are you going to rise up and accept that challenge? Let's go ahead and pray. Jesus, I come before you right now. I thank you again for giving me the words and the ability to be able to do these lessons that you have given me. Thank you for the equipment that I have. And I know it's not much, but I am trying my best to walk in your path. And I just ask that you will let these words enter into these people that are watching into their homes. And I just ask with each person that is watching this video, I want to pray over them right now. I want to pray that you will guide them, that you will help them, and that you will give them the power to rise up in your spirit and to rise up and walk in your ways. I also want to ask that you will bless the person that is watching this, that you'll not only bless their home, but you'll bless their finances, you'll bless their families, you'll bless their children, and that you will bless them in abundantly, mighty God, that you will be able to be there in their midst, that you are giving them the comfort that you desire, not what the enemies desire. I just ask that you will come down, and as these people are watching, I just ask that you will come down, and that you will camp over their minds, and that you will be with them in their thoughts, and that you will be able to guide them into a better life, into a better season of their life. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I love y'all. God bless.